Good evening, and welcome to another segment of the new Black Leadership Coalition here in the great studios of Intellectual Radio. I am the host, sitting here with the co-host and member, Philip Randolph, Pullman Porter Museum, and our extraordinaire and absolutely visionary, Mr. None Other, Brother David Peterson.
I appreciate the welcome.
Yes,
All
sir.
praise is due to the Most High for allowing me to be in a position to be addressed in that. Appreciate it. I must be doing something right.
All praise is due to the Creator, to each and every one of us, and all of you all that's joining in. And as we've been saying before the show, come on in.
Share the live.
But we are absolutely very thankful as a coalition. All of the members of the New Black Leadership would like to thank you all for tuning in, and those who have faithfully participated in our quarterly roundtable discussions, and those that are meeting without notification and provocation, that believes in from a standpoint of action and love and unity and brotherhood, period. So we're very thankful. And listen, always thankful to our ancestors. We're thankful to all of those that have gone before us, who have paved the way. And it's some real tall shoulders, and we would have to be here 365 days, 24/7 to mention all of them, because we could not leave one out. So I'm not going to mention any names, but it's just so many folks that are responsible, and without their work, this work right here would not be possible. So I want to thank all of those contemporaries out there that are doing the work and really love the work, passionately love the work of liberation, because this is what this is all about. True liberation, salvation from inspiration and motivation. So we are very thankful, and we really want to thank the Creator, man, for giving us another opportunity to get it right. And so this show, like no other shows, I have to say, and I have to give kudos to and shout outs to the Butt Naked Truth, Brother Harold Davis, because they bring it very beyond raw. They just bring it real. And it is absolutely a necessary, powerful radio show that has taken off in such a powerful way. And we thank those other shows or hosts on other shows that really are sincere about the condition of Black people, poor people, and humanity. So you know who I'm talking about. Thank you. Mike, can you hit that live for the Instagram too? Hit that one. I forgot to hit that one to go live on it. Thank you. So today I'm sitting in with the co-host, and I really don't have a commentary because I think the show is going to be a commentary. I did put out there poly tricks.
Yeah, well, that was a good premise. You know what I mean, to start this off with, because we're about 3 months out before the mayoral election, February 26th, the automatic election,
Right.
February 26th. And right now, it's a lot going on outside. First of all, I want to start off by acknowledging Brother Maxwell Omawale Justice, who was shot yesterday while out canvassing. Thank the Creator that brother made it out alive.
Tell us a little bit about that.
He was out canvassing for 15th Ward candidate Joseph Williams.
Okay.
And You know, he had got on. He's a millennial. You know, part of Level Up and Vote, part of 10 by 10 to Win. You know, and you know, the gentleman he went live and telling people what he's out doing, and before you know it, you know, someone had ran up and shot him while he was on live. A masked man came and shot him. You know, so you know that's made the news. You know, it's a whole big deal. You know, but he's a genuine brother, a freedom fighter out here. You know, trying to push forward for the culture. You know what I mean?
And he's running for the 15th or 16th?
No. He was actually canvassing for someone running for the 15th.
Who is he canvassing for?
Joseph Williams.
Okay.
15 Ward.
And that's between what particular alderman? I know Lopez is.
I'm not sure who
one
else
of the
I'm not sure who
aldermen that's running. But I want to say this: we don't at all promote and believe in violence,
right,
whatsoever.
right.
And so, if you are viewing this, that is such a coward way of expressing yourself, and whatever that's all about, because it's more than what we're hearing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Much more than what we're hearing.
Absolutely.
I don't want to speculate, but it's a sad commentary, Brother David, that anybody would want to shoot someone for having a political perspective. But today I call this poly. Poly means many, many tricks. And I'm saying it like that because what other group of people rely on politics to be their bread and butter, to change the reality that they live in other than black people? I mean, like there's no other way for us to survive. You talk about tourism, you know, you have a powerful museum. We understand business, but why politics in such an alerting, urgent way as far as the mayoral race and some automatic seats? Well, why now?
In my humble opinion and observation is, you know, the majority of the time we learn from social learning theory. You know what I mean? We learn from social behaviors, from social situations that we're in.
Well, let's talk about a social behavior. I want to bring it all the way down. Okay. We got still conversations about how many black people are in this race.
Right.
So I want to bring it right to the front.
Right.
Now, are the black folks, candidates that's in this race, are they in this race because they want to, in fact, change the system economically? Who gets what? Because I'm going to go back a tiny bit with Harold Washington.
Right.
In terms of contracts,
right,
policies that made a difference for black people. Are black people, and I look, whether you call it the machine, are you in it to keep the status quo? And you are a safe bet, safe Negro, safe black person, safe political individual that they trust? Are you really in it to win it? Now, I heard people criticizing Willie and some of our brother who, I don't know why he didn't show up, LaShawn Ford, whatever the reason. This is like the second or third time LaShawn did not show up. I don't know if he's afraid or what. I mean, I'm just putting it out there, bro, because LaShawn said some really interesting things on another radio show. And the people that support him, nobody went and beat them up to say, man, he said he has a real great relationship with Ed Burke, and he have a great relationship with Michael Madigan. So you're not calling him that. So be careful when people associate and they go in the room with certain people. The thing is, are you selling your soul? Are you playing games with the aspirations, the little bit that we can get out of politics? Are you playing games, or do you really love black people? Do you love black people, poor people? Other than that, I wouldn't give a damn why you in the race.
Yeah, I would like to kind of go back to, the initial thing we were talking about, which leads to those symptoms, which is somebody running for an office. In my opinion, like I was saying, I think that the fact that we depend so much on politics,
right,
and all of these other institutional bodies that were historically put in place to control us socially,
right,
mentally, spiritually, you know what I mean?
Economically,
we're talking about institutions that were literally built on the backs of controlling black folk. That, time has passed, but the institutional foundation is still the same. So what happens is we put too much emphasis on it because of what we've learned through osmosis and social learning theory.
So is it to bust it up, David?
Well,
I'm glad what you said. I'm glad you're saying what you're saying, because if this institution is that strong, that historical, are we affecting it in any kind of way to where it's benefiting us?
Well, we can't. That's see, the thing is, we take away our power when we try to separate ourselves from things that we've done. You know what I mean? At the very end of the day, we were here first. You know what I mean? We literally with our hands built the place and have had the most impact. And today, probably hold one of the most influential spending blocks, if you will. You know what I mean? So my thing is, when people say, we don't want that money, that's government money, but you pay a tax every time you go get a Twix.
So is it a roadblock, David?
It's not a roadblock. It's an opportunity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We have to craft our minds and our mouths to only speak optimistic. We either build or destroy. At the end of the day, we only have a choice to do.
So what changes the condition of black people?
The manner in which we see the obstacles and the roadblocks before us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We can either see it and give up and say that's a problem, or we can see it and say that's an opportunity. I will be triumphant, because in my blood, in my veins is the same blood of the triumphant people that built civilizations.
So
you see what I'm saying?
Right. I don't know how much of intimately many of the candidates that's running, but who do you hear that sound as though they understand and believe in the struggle of black people, poor people? Who do you hear saying things that doesn't sound so cute, or saying what we want to hear, but saying that will in fact make the institution worried that if they got an office, they're going to in fact do some things that the same folks who typically get the contracts, who typically have the commissioners and have these lofty positions, do you hear out of any of them that's what they would radically do for black people that ain't afraid to die? Because once you start making decisions and moves that affect the bottom line in an institution, a system that was created, as you say, to keep them in power, white supremacy is real.
Yeah, what I won't do is be, back into a situation where I'm endorsing a candidate.
Not so much endorsing, but who do you hear sound? I mean, it might be all of them.
What I will say is I've heard all of them say the same things that they know that people need to hear. This is the campaign trail. You know what I mean? As far as
politics,
as far as actions is concerned, it's hard to say that now because there isn't a platform for them to do any actions. It's a platform for them to do this. However, I have seen LaShawn Ford pass some good bills for people lately. I saw him do the thing about people who might be charged with marijuana charges. You know what I mean? Rolling that.
They should drop that garbage.
I saw him talk about that. I saw him talk about a few other things. I mean, if you go to his page or whatever, you can see all of the different bills and stuff that he's been passing.
Okay.
So that's all I've seen. As far as Toni Preckwinkle, of course, she's county board president now. So you know what I mean. You can go and look at her public profile and see what she's doing right now.
Okay.
But, I mean, but that's not necessary. I don't think that's a fair question to ask for this platform because everybody had the opportunity to show and prove right now.
Well, what I'm saying is just based on a body of work.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just mentioned a body of work that LaShawn has been doing. We know that Willie Wilson, not because he passed out money.
Dorothy Brown, she has a body of work. Willie Wilson got a body of work. You know, every I mean, you know, yeah, that, you know. No, I'm just saying. I was trying to. I didn't want to get stumbled on trying to name out a candidate.
No, bro. And the reason why is going back to why I came out the gates calling this poly mini tricks. Are you in this to change something to make life better? Look, if I'm the mayor of Chicago,
I think we put too much emphasis on that.
Right, but to check this out.
All right.
If just some things that I know affect poor people,
right,
I'm gonna put emphasis on how you nickel and diming
right.
poor people.
Right.
Hell, but here's a person struggling already that barely could eat.
Right.
And you put a boot on their car.
Right.
They trying to run into the store, don't have the debit card, the machine ain't working. They get another damn ticket, one or two. They can't pay it because it's hard out here.
Right.
So they look up and they got a boot on their car.
Right.
After a day, sometime, or a few hours, they come and tow the car.
Right.
So do that pain you to see people being treated like that? If it don't, then you don't love black people.
Right, right. No, I hear you. So in my case, I love black people, and I've been the person that's gotten the boot before. Right?
I've gotten the boot. That's probably why I'm saying
for me
like
though,
this.
and just like that too, running in somewhere to come right back out, right? But for me though, I'm more interested in the person that's going to provide me with the alternative where I don't even have to worry about the boot, as opposed to
how you gonna do that?
If somebody increases your quality of living to the point where you have a living wage job where you can just pay your damn tickets, then it's a lot easier than you saying, well, I want somebody to just take it all away, right? Because there's somebody who's wealthy who might have got a ticket and it was nothing in
it don't hurt them. They get their car towed right back to them. They get
their car towed right back. I want us to have that.
They go online and get theirs and don't even have to show up.
I want somebody in office that's going to give us that same capacity. I want somebody that's going to come bring living wage jobs to my community so that if I get a ticket, it's not the end of the world for me. It's a roadblock I got to pay.
Well, it's sure the end of the world right now, brother.
I might not be able to go have sushi for the week.
Right.
You know, go pay. You know.
But that makes sense what you're saying, David. But that means they will put, in fact, in order, they will put in place policy. They will put in place opportunities.
Right. We benefit
from in that arena only.
We give them too much. We give them too much power over our fate. We are the master of our fate. We are the captain.
Yeah, we should be.
So us as the constituents, us as the body of folk that's worried about low income, very low income people, we need to be positioning ourselves to take those conversations to them in the form of briefing memos, bills that we're writing up ourselves, things that we need lobby.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They are elected officials. That means that they're in place to do a job for the community. It is us as a community to increase our capacity to put our demands on the table, just like everybody other
yes,
group.
Sir.
Why you think there's a specific ID card for some people in the city now? Why you think there's a sanctuary city? Why you think somebody, you know, they're different? You know, if you say the wrong word, you get kicked off of TV now for offending somebody's sexual preferences. You know why? Because everybody else is putting their stuff on the table unapologetically and not bending, not wavering, none of that. Once we get to that place, then we'll have a little more power.
Yeah.
Then we'll have a little more respect from our elected officials. So when those elected officials get into office, there's accountability there. That's what we're working on. That's what we're working on in the Ninth Ward right now. You know, we having a candidates forum this Wednesday, 6:00 at Butler College Prep. So if you know, Corliss High School became half of it became Butler's College Prep, which is on the backside.
Name some of the candidates.
So the entrance is on 104th Street. So some of the candidates, you know, for the Ninth Ward aldermanic race are Cleopatra Watson. The incumbent, 20-year incumbent, Anthony Beal, Marcia Brown Williams, Essie Hall.
Essie from Mississippi.
Rachel Williams and Paul Collins. Those from the suburbs. Those are your Ninth Ward aldermanic candidates, you know. So I moved to the Ninth Ward in 1989.
Okay.
I was a young man. Graduated in 1999, left and went to college, and came back. I'm back now. I've been back since '07, back in the Ninth Ward. And
Can we go back to something you said? I just
well,
want to, I want to, before I forget, I do want to put this in.
yes, sir.
I can't stand it makes my stomach turn when I see if you say something that is immature, that is offensive, you should not, in terms of how you feel, but you shouldn't offend anyone, but you should not ever cave in when you're telling the truth.
Mhm.
Once you say what you have to say, you can apologize. But the foolish part is they ain't gonna ever forgive you.
Mhm.
Period. So stop acting like a little punk. Stop acting like a little chump. I
Mhm.
mean, you should be respectful to people, period. And
Mhm.
when you say it sincerely, you don't have to say it anymore.
Right.
Stop begging and crying.
Right.
I mean, I can't stand a
Mhm.
bunch of punks. And some of these people, that's why the scripture said, what profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his or her soul?
Yeah. So where we are in the turning point of the city's leadership,
Uh-huh.
the Ninth Ward's leadership. The Ninth Ward has served as an international tourist destination for some time.
Okay.
Specifically on the Pullman side, which is a very small portion of it, but that portion is a very, very large portion of the Ninth Ward.
Can you give me the economic climate in the Ninth Ward
So,
right now in terms of the social economic piece, poverty?
I mean, in Pullman, there's a $12 billion TIF note there. A tax increment financing note that's based off the tax base of the businesses that have come to the neighborhood, the industrial developments.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, we have a new industrial development over there. You know what I mean? A community center. I think they charge.
How many jobs that created?
I heard it. A lot of jobs. I heard it's about $60 to $80 to rent a basketball court for an hour. Not necessarily sure if that lines up with the
Where
median
that money
income.
go?
I have no idea. Not too sure about all the specifics of it. I know it's a big project that's been underway for a while. Good to see that it's open. But I'm concerned with what the rest of the ward is going to look like. The next 20 years, because once again, we're right at the cusp of potential gentrification right now. You know what I mean? But because we've had an opportunity to carve out a cultural identity of the neighborhood, I think that we've pretty much safeguarded the community from that.
Roseland is a big part of that.
It's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So now my particular concern is, because I have friends and family who live in Roseland. You know what I mean? I do business in Roseland. A lot of the kids that I service are from Roseland. You know what I mean? We're concerned that their quality of life increases as Pullman's quality of life increases. You know what I mean? So all of the resources that are over there, we want to make sure that there's somebody in office that understands the importance of spreading that out evenly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Taking some from the very, very wealthy and helping those who are just trying to get along. You know what I mean?
That's what
Creating
I want
more
to hear.
opportunities like that.
That's what I want to hear.
So I'm excited about all of the new things that are going on in the ward. You know what I mean? Our incumbent has had a 20-year run. I think he's done some good things during that time period. I personally would like to see some new leadership. I'd like to see somebody else get a crack at it. Let them get a chance. And I'd love for them to be able to work with him in order to achieve that goal. You know what I mean? I'd love for him to be able to, have a nice little transition. Hey, okay, let me mentor some new youth who can take the ward where I was. When I started, I was young. Let's give somebody else young an opportunity and let me mentor them and take us all collectively to the next level. You know what I mean? Because
why don't you talk to him? Because he probably listening.
I mean, hopefully he is. You know what I mean? If not, hopefully the word gets there. But I mean, in either case, this isn't a individual thing. Our fight isn't against flesh and blood, but principalities and spirits in high places. You know what I mean?
So endorsing somebody, or you just want some new leadership?
No, I'm endorsing an idea.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm endorsing hope and optimism.
So how would he just being realistically,
he what?
The current alderman,
Mm-hmm.
who that's a job too.
Right.
And I don't know if he's ready to retire, but what you're saying right now, he's in a good position to where if the transition went on passing the baton, he could sit comfortably and other opportunities will be there, because that's got to be part of the whole package. If somebody is going to get out of the way, as much as people say they want to do things for the community, I want to be a teacher, that salary becomes the real deal.
Yeah.
And a
Well, if I'm
lot
not
of
mistaken,
cases,
if you alderman, you get like,
part-time.
yeah, you get it like for the rest of your life, don't you? A salary or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I don't
Okay.
think so. No, sir.
Well,
That's why they keep running.
I would say this, I don't think that, making money will be a problem for him. He's proven that he knows how to make some money. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily think that'll be a problem.
But the perks that comes with the alderman being in that position, but let me go back to a reality check, though.
Yeah.
Let me go back to a reality check. I don't know if this is true for aldermen. I know Bill, Anthony. I know a lot of the aldermen. I know a lot of the state reps. I've known many mayors. I've known people that are congressmen. But some of them, people believe, are in it, those positions, some of them, to make sure. Now, that sounds like a real sad reach, but to keep the status quo going.
And like I say, we got two choices. We can either build or destroy. So for me, the majority of my information that I'm focusing on, all of my effort is on building a future for my neighborhood, for my city, for my community.
Absolutely, and I don't blame you.
At the end of the day, you know what I mean? So whatever war that got to take place in, for me, my working setting is Pullman right now. You know what I mean?
Now, I love what you're saying, David, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to be very honest, took the position that you are taking right now, which is real.
And what is that?
He did not worry about, although the mindset of white America was pointed out, it did not occupy the space, the mindset of doing for self.
Yeah.
And the programs, in spite of what they are doing or not doing, and etc. Now, we need to be aware, but not to stew in that and then pass on opportunities. So you are absolutely 150%.
If I dwell in that space, I'm stifling my innovation.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we still possess the contents, the components of the earth. Protons, electrons, and neutrons, right? So with that genetic makeup, I had a capacity to create things. You know what I mean? So I need to make sure that I'm using all of my capacity to create things that are going to be fruitful for my people and for my community at the end of the day.
Yeah, God got to be part of this equation, brother, because at the rate we are operating right now, I have faith, but I must be honest on this show. And if we were just in our living room talking, sometimes you just, it don't seem like it's happening. The pace of it is very disturbing. The Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan said, politics without economics is symbol.
Yeah, so
without substance. And so we do need a vision.
Yeah,
we do need a plan.
Yeah.
And we should be focusing on the positive, because what you're saying, bro, there's no absolute argument. But so when you mention the Ninth Ward, the forum,
right,
that you are
the
candidacy forum, you brought that up because there's a vision that's not shared. Everybody individually is coming up to present themselves based on the history of the Pullman area, or just I'll be better than the other person.
Right. So for us, what we're trying to do is create a body that will present things that we want to see done. You know what I mean? Like, there are already existing models of economic development going on. Randolph's Dream Community Development Corporation is a CDC that I actually founded. And, we've been working for some years on pretty much extending the work that began in about 91 with Historic North Pullman, with Dr. Lynn Hughes, the founder. So this right here, right? This is basically the first preliminary staff summary of information submitted to the Commission of Chicago Landmarks. This was from February 92. And this was talking about the development of North Pullman, right? This is the whole premise what the museum was built on under the cultural economic development model, right? Beyond that, when I went to undergraduate school at Florida A&M University, and then came back for DePaul, where the focus was urban planning, economic development, and small business development, right? All of these were really, we created something called the Community Economic Development Power Project, which once again will run concurrent with this whole North Pullman development plan, right? That was based on studies that I study. Michael Tanner, The Poverty of Welfare, and one of my most favorites, The Destruction of Black Civilization.
Yeah, Chancellor.
Right? Absolutely, right? So
Williams.
These are the things. These are the things that served as somewhat roadblocks, right? And then there's another brother we're working with, Robert Douglas. He created the Roseland Civic Engagement Study, right? So there's an extensive amount of work that's going on to this. And then this right here, this is the state piece called the Millennium Reserve and Greater Calumet Region. So basically, this is the South Lakefront Region Development Plan for the next 100 years, if you will.
So are there many blueprints that you're working from? Absolutely. You look at that area.
Absolutely. Lots of them. And then in addition to that, federally it's now classified as an opportunity zone, which means people can make high-level investments over there and not have to pay taxes for 10 years and no capital gains for 10 years, right? In addition to that, it's a micro market recovery zone, the northern end, the predominantly black side, which is mostly impoverished. There's not even a grocery store over there. I can walk to the store and see a peach blunt on the counter, but I can't see an actual peach. I can go get me a peach pop, but I can't get a peach. You know what I mean? We live in a food desert right now. You know what I mean? So wow. You know what I mean? The way that we're moving now is a lot of us are young people that grew up in that neighborhood. You know, now I don't know about any of the other candidates. You know what I mean? I myself grew up over there. Lost one of my best friends when I was about 14 over there. I bled over there. I fought over there. I played over there. I've invested over there. I work over there. You know what I mean? So this is bigger than a race for me. This is a matter of life and death because I got little kids that come up to me every day and ask me for help. I got young adult men who come up to me and ask me for help. I got older men, you know, the middle-aged men that come and ask me for help. And I need to be able to increase my capacity to service my community. And I want to work with an elected official that's going to help me do that. We've done the work. We've done the right thing. You know what I mean? We didn't stand out on the corner and sell drugs or shoot at people all day. We didn't bring havoc to our neighborhood. We didn't look down at the people that did engage in some of those things. We tried to lift them up. We tried to show them an alternative. We've served as an international tourist destination in that neighborhood.
Why did you run, man?
Well, because the creator didn't give me the commission to do so. You know what I mean? But you better believe if he had made the provision for me to run, I'd have been obedient. But he said, no, I need you in another space right now. But I want you to work with whoever's going to work. I need you to step into this battlefield right now and create a standard that's going to say, no matter who runs, this is how dealings will be done in this ward. You see what I'm saying? We don't have accountability.
Man,
we don't have checks and balances.
David,
that's a problem.
Yeah, what you said should be a model for every community in Chicago, brother.
And that's why I can't run for office, because if I do that, I got to focus on one specific community. I can't focus on my people across the diaspora like we're going to be doing. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
I love it, bro.
That's where we at right now, man.
Because it's really powerful. I just pray and hope that model, because let's hypothetically talk and say if the outcome is so that the current alderman wins. Does that mean that work or that vision, etc., is not honored?
We are a proof of concept that's not the case.
Because so you could do this with or without.
On February 25th, 2019, we will be celebrating the 24th anniversary of the National A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum, the first and only Black labor history museum in the world not funded or dependent by state or federal funds. Now, yes, we have a programmatic arm that gets some funding, you know what I mean, to facilitate different programs or workshops, but no, our operational structure is not dependent on grant funds, right? We've been able to operate this model under this entrepreneurial model, a manifesto that we've just created called the Cultural Economic Development Manifesto, basically a way of life that we use culture as our impetus for social and economic development. We've been able to do that for 24 years. So no matter who's going to be in office tomorrow or 20 years from now, this manifesto that we have created, this proof of concept will continue to go on. So for us, it's not about we got to get somebody in office so that we can do what we want to do. My personal, this is me. This isn't the museum. The museum is a 501c3 organization. We're not endorsing any candidate. Me as a young man that grew up in that neighborhood whose house burned down in front of his in September 1999, who almost was killed in that neighborhood. What I'm saying it is my social duty and responsibility to go back to my neighborhood and take every single thing I've ever learned outside of that neighborhood back to my neighborhood. So those friends of mine who've grown up in that neighborhood, who haven't had that opportunity, can have that same access. So when I was able to go to Hyde Park, to go to arts programming and things like that, right? Those kids who can't do that, they need to be able to walk right outside their neighborhood and do it. For me, who was able to walk down the street and see all this great architecture and stuff going on, right? Our kids should be able to do that too. When I walk outside and see homeowners in Hyde Park, I want to be able to see that in our place too. I don't want to walk down my block and see blocks and blocks and blocks of vacant lots. I walk down a block that I lived on, it's 7 abandoned buildings, 3 vacant lots. Okay. That is not what my vision for my community is, and I know what to do.
I love it. I mean, I love what I'm hearing.
I'm not in office. I'm not in office, and I don't have the direct. I'm not going to say I don't have the access to the capital. I'm not in office right now, and my plan has not come to fruition yet. But I do have the capacity to create what I want in that neighborhood.
So certain type of moves that need to happen in that community need the stamp or approval of the alderman.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Because we see when you have the stamp of the alderman, then what you can do is you can test the menu budget. You can access the TIF funds. You can access the CDBG funds. You can access so many different pots of money that are in place for beautification projects, for capital development, for all of these different programs, right? That can help beautify the neighborhood, put people to work, increase the quality of life in the entire neighborhood. That is why that office is not about it's me or that person. So whether I like a person or not, what we want is someone who's going to facilitate the office in a way that gives the community access to the office. That's the community's office.
Yeah, the pride.
That's not an individual's office. That's right. Why the community elects you into office.
Yeah, the pride.
That's our office.
Yeah.
You know
it should be.
So that's what we're trying to do.
We're trying to create all of the offices in this damn city.
Yeah, we want to help. We don't want to put it all on one person. So it should be. So if the current incumbent alderman winds up being the person that's there, what we're saying is, hey, you've done enough for 20 years. We don't want you to shoulder the burden of the entire war by yourself, because it wasn't set up for you to do it that way. It's set up for you to say, so we're putting on the table, we have a community economic development program. We have a citywide comprehensive development program for firehouses, where we'll turn them into cultural factories. The one in Pullman will be our proof of concept, the first one. There were murmurs that the current alderman was potentially trying to give it to someone else, but we know that's not necessarily a wise decision. When we have access to the capital, we have access to the creativity and the innovation from around the world to help us get it done the right way. So what we've done is we decided we're going to make this a citywide effort, because every single neighborhood deserves the same access that we put our work into.
That's what I want to hear
for the night war, right? So every single neighborhood should be able to produce cultural products, so that as we have international tourism coming into our neighborhoods across the city, downtown, people in our neighborhood can benefit from that $1 trillion industry called tourism, because they found their way into it. We're going to be partnering with the Treehouse Museum. You know what I mean? To do some things like that. While we are about building a Black community, we'll work with anybody. But we're grounded in self to a point where we don't have to compromise who we are in those alternate spaces. We can take who we are comfortably into that space and say, look, this is what we have to bring to the table. This isn't a mom and pop store we're talking about. We're talking about cultural institutions founded by scholars. You know what I mean?
Tell me, that's beautiful. So with all of that going on, that will in fact change the negatives that is so pervasive in these areas.
Yeah, we're not even speaking negative no more.
But no. I'm talking about the reality check
Yeah.
of addressing the ills in our community.
Mm-hmm.
They have to disappear as a result of these opportunities of this, because this is changing the mindset.
Yeah.
We know when we talk about individually being role models, when children can walk out and see that word, come over in the museum, walk around the corner, go across the street, and all they see around them is institutions that represent our history, our culture, who we are, then all of the negative stuff goes away.
Yeah, see, with our cultural economic development manifesto, with our community economic development power community economic development power project, we're gonna put at the minimum 20 guys on the street at a time. We're gonna serve as a feeder program for ex-offenders coming home who are getting reacclimated to the system. We're gonna have a program that teaches them about soft skills. You know what I mean? But like I said, we're gonna have 20 guys on the street at a time. So it ain't no acting up in our areas.
Good. That's why I want this to be not about the Ninth Ward.
No, this is a public safety issue. This is a public health issue.
Right.
We are tired of our people getting shot down in the street like dogs, broad daylight on Instagram and stuff. These kids doing this stuff when there's cameras around. We're tired of these little girls out here getting raped and stuff and taken advantage of. So we're gonna put 20 guys on the street that's not gonna play with y'all at any given moment. We'll work collectively with the law enforcement, whoever's supposed to be on the beat. We want a standard that says we want more cops walking the beat. You know what I mean? We want boots on the ground. We want boots on the ground.
Love it.
Because we try to be cool with everybody and let us give them time. Let us give them a job. Nah. When we hear people consistently talking about rewarding this blatant crime and disrespecting our neighborhoods with just a job, then we're not talking about a realistic something. No, this man just beat an old lady over the head who took her purse. He don't need no job. He need a consequence. So we're gonna have 20 guys outside in every neighborhood who ready to deliver a consequence. Period.
Well, every civilized nation and nation that's respected by the Creator have a right to protect their women and children in community, period. Because if you rely on somebody else that don't love you, that don't respect you, you ain't gonna never get any protection ever. And anything goes. But once they realize, and bro, that's why, I always points back to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Nation of Islam wasn't about just selling a newspaper. That was information. Bean pie was a good product, but we were made
in 2019
to be fearless.
That's right.
Fearless.
That's right.
Black men.
That's right.
That did not allow anyone to come and disrespect us, our children, our women, or our community. And we didn't give a damn. We have a right to defend ourselves. And that's why I love what you're saying, because that's nation building. And that model came from the message.
Yeah, we're not asking for permission to take back our communities in 2019. That day came and went. It's a whole new wavelength out here.
We waiting on this,
it's
brother.
A whole new frequency that we moving on. That goes for economics. That goes for public safety. That goes for public health. We're not waiting on nobody no more.
Education.
And education. We're not waiting on nobody no more. We stepping out here ourselves and saying, this is how we want it to be. If it's not being done, this is what we want to see done. And we want people around us that's going to increase our capacity to do that. So if they see us take the initiative to take that first step, we want elected officials to meet us halfway and say, hey, we saw what you guys are doing. How can we help in that process?
David, you need to
That's the type of leadership we need.
Let me tell you, you need to be at every debate, at every and I mean, this model.
I'm too passionate. I need to be in the corner.
No, bro. Nope. Because people giving them a way out.
Yeah, man.
And when you bring it like this,
yeah, man.
I mean, some people would change their mind about wanting to sit in that seat. Yeah. Because there's some deliverables here that, but what I love most of all is this is divine organization, because once you get this kind of strength, and I can hear the Godfather, in my head, I can, and I'm not going to quote any of it, but what I hear a tiny bit is that you gotta let people know, man, that you willing to put your life on the line to protect yours. And because we don't put any pressure by putting it on ourselves first, by being a great role model, modeling, building, and having that kind of vision that you just drew. It's amazing, brother. And I think that's what's missing in the conversation, because you're not talking about a job or a couple of bucks. And for David, you're talking about generations to come, that we get back our dignity and our strength and have a real community that don't rely. Because David, it don't even make sense of the preacher don't live on the block, don't live in the neighborhood. The teacher don't live in the neighborhood. The police don't live in the neighborhood. I mean, the people that claim to be serving us, they live every place but Pullman, every place but Bronzeville, and they claim to be serving us. They out in the suburbs. They members don't even live in that space, and yet the Arab who have the little nasty store don't live in the neighborhood. Look at that.
I mean, and let's be clear. My belief is prosperity is our birthright. So I'm not the guy that's willing to be 20 years down the line still talking about, oh, they ain't give me nothing. That's not
right.
I'm somewhere very wealthy. So please, let's put that at the forefront of this. I'm in this for prosperity and generational wealth for myself and my family and those around me. However, abundance is my goal, though. So with abundance, that gives me the opportunity to do that for myself and bless everyone else the same way.
Let me share this with you.
You know what I mean? Everybody else, I don't want to be at the top waiting and everybody else eating crumbs. No, we all deserve it.
Before I forget, one of the greatest men, one of them, to ever live on this planet, his name is Brother Khalil Muhammad. He just had his, I'm going to call it funeral service, memorial service. You can call it a homegoing. Celebration of life, really. This brother said his daughter, he's 90-some years old. He transitioning, mind working. She said, Daddy, she said, if there was one thing that you could have right now, what would that be? And I understand she said, he told her, like, let me think about it. And I don't know how long, it was 5 minutes or the next day to something, but she came back and he was ready to give her an answer at 90. And he said, now this is one of the most faithful soldiers of the Nation of Islam, brother. Every soldier respect this soldier. Guess what he said?
Wow.
To bear witness what you just said. He said at 90, passing on right now, he said, money. She said, Daddy, why money? Right now. He said, because I still want to buy your mama that home.
Well, listen.
Now, he understands that the wealth is about dignity, not to get it and be a damn fool with it, but to take care of your family, your community. That's what it's for, not to bling bling, because then if you're doing that, all what you're doing is in vain.
And see, that's why we're setting up from all of these different studies and stuff that I've been studying. I went to school, messed my credit up, all that, I did that so that I could learn how to keep my credit up. Mess it all up.
I messed mine up other ways. It's been messed up. I wish y'all would credit relief people help me out.
That stuff isn't. We took all of this and we wrapped it up. We wrapped it up into something so potent that it's gonna help our people. Because see, right now people think, okay, I get these guys in the neighborhood a job. and they'll be cool, right? But they don't tell them how to invest their money. So 2 weeks later, they done spent their money up, and now they back asking the cousin for a couple of dollars, right? As opposed to just saying, look, okay, we're gonna give you this paycheck, but we're also gonna put you in this class every day, once a week on the job site. We'll show you all how to invest your money. We'll have somebody come in and talk to you all about investment opportunities, so you can take maybe 10% of your check and put it.
Hey, we got 5 minutes before we leave. Dave been getting down. I got to go back and listen to this. Because no, it's a great show, man, and it is absolutely one that people need to go back and play, because this is real talk. This is what you call, the war room and a strategy. But if you want to, if you want to call in right now, 708-223-8953. Dave, you laying it down. What I love about this, but thank God you're a co-member of the New Black Leadership. I thank you, Minister Mike, for holding on to this young man here.
And I thank Joe for bringing it.
And thank Brother Joe Watt.
Rest in power. Rest in power. Love you so much, man.
But David, thank you, man, because honestly, we could get buried in the minutia of negativity. But it's so easy that we keep blaming, although there's blame to go around, but hell, that shouldn't be our focus. Our focus is to take this information, this wisdom, God's wisdom. You dig? You mentioned some great scholarship and research and work, man, that will make a community turn to gold overnight.
I mean, at the end of the day, the math is not going to change. 85 going to be lost. 5% is here to teach everybody what's going on, and 10% already know what's going on, and they're using it to control us. I take pride in being a part of that 5% that has dedicated my life to enlightening my people and getting access to information and redistributing it to those that have been previously lost and sent off and bent off. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So that's how we coming. That's how this thing gonna move from generation to generation. And that's why we're building on manifestos, legislation, and executive orders, things that cannot be moved. So when I'm out of here, I did my job in the relay. I made my step. So now the next generation don't got to fight that same fight again, because I did what I did at the institution. That's why Wednesday at 6:00 at Butler College Prep on 104th Street. That's why that's the beginning. That's the beginning of a day for accountability.
Dave, I can see what do you call the man in the funeral home? What's the man called? The one to run the
preacher?
What is it called, Michael? The Undertaker.
Oh, okay.
I can see the Undertaker coming to you like the man went to the Godfather. He said, well, if you thought that much of me, why didn't you come to me first?
Right, exactly.
You went to the police.
Yeah.
So I can see the community coming to us first. Because they should have enough respect, and we should have enough power, brother, that it would be a mistake to keep.
We got to be able to deliver a consequence.
A terrorist in our own damn community, man.
Got to be able to deliver a consequence. If a young lady come to us and say that some man was touching on her or made her feel uncomfortable, he need to be dealt with immediately. Ain't no we doing a march. We need to, man, where he at right now? All right, cool. I bet you that don't happen again. That's the type of standard that we need to have in all of our communities. If somebody is poor in our neighborhood and there's somebody that's very, very wealthy, that person needs to be able to help that person come up. That person should be able to find gainful employment. If they can't get employment, put them in a work training program. You know what I mean? It got to be a means to an end. We got to be able to provide that from inside out.
Teach, brother.
That's
teach. It. Man, thank you, brother David Peterson. Philip Randolph. Give the people here.
Yes, sir.
We got a couple of seconds, a minute, but we got what? We got to go.
PullmanPorterMuseum.com.
We got to go. Thank you all for tuning in. Please share this show.
Share the live.
Action makes words unnecessary. Peace and love. New Black Leadership Coalition would like to thank our founder, Minister Mike Muhammad, all of the members, co-members of New Black Leadership. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank Intellectual Radio for this space and place. Peace and love, and do for self.